AEW Dynamite from December 10th. I have to say to myself, what is going on, Tony Khan? What is going on with this booking? Now, with this show, okay, the women's tag team match, the World Tag Team Championship final, I enjoyed this match. Willow and Harley versus Tony and Mina. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a really good opening. The thing about this match that I did not like was that the referee did not she was just standing there at times. All four women were in the ring a couple of times in this match, maybe a few times in this match, and the referee was just standing there. Why can't you pretend to ensure that the wrestlers are following the rules, make sure they adhere to the rules? Like, can you like kind of pretend that they're doing that instead of just standing there? So I thought that was just kind of weird. But anyway, Willow and Harley, they are the champions. So I thought it was a really fun match. Like the thing with the referee and just them like doing a little too much, just coming into the ring random times I didn't like, but I thought it was a good match, and I can't wait to see Willow and Harley how they are presented as the champions. I think that we can get some really good matches and some fun promos from them. Now, this is what I don't get right here. The Continental Tournament. I'm not a fan of the Continental Tournament. Blue League, Gold League, whatever league. It's just too much going on. Have a normal tournament. This just does not make any sense to me. You get 6 points for this, 4 points for whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's just too much. And say if they just a regular tournament would just be fine. And then also with Okada, I don't think he should be in this tournament. I think the winner of this tournament should get a chance to face him for the championship or for any championship. But since it's called the Continental Tournament or Classic, whatever tournament it's called, okay, maybe just have that winner face Okada. And then if they want to have, maybe if you lose two matches, you're out. If they don't want to do, one match, you're out. Maybe just two matches, you're out of the tournament or something like that. I just feel like it's just too much. But anyway, Okada versus Jungle Boy. The Jungle Boy, or Jack Perry, whatever, I used to like him when he was a Jungle Boy a couple of years ago. Now I just don't. I don't know. Just is there's no change, and he's a small guy, by the way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just thinking, like, after a couple of years, you have to put on, like, seem like you're working out, put on weight, look like a wrestler. Even if you are a small guy, you can put on a little more muscle and just switch up. I don't know. I don't get it. But anyway, Okada won. I know at one point they were doing something in the corner, like in the on. I guess what happened? Perry. I guess he landed. I guess Okada was running towards the corner, towards the turnbuckle, and Perry was supposed to flip over him, but he flipped in front of him, and he landed like on his knee, and then he, I guess, got himself together, and then hit a German suplex onto Okada. But anyway, like I said, Okada won. Okada, I think he's a lazy worker. He wrestles like he's a 50-year-old man or maybe 60 years old. He's not really good, and I think he's overrated at this time. He was better in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but in AEW, he has not been good at all. And this other thing I don't get, the Tornado Tag Team match, or not tag team match, but Tornado Tag match, Adam Page and Swerve. It was Adam Page and Swerve versus Hobbs and Shibata. That match was just so, like, when they started the match, when they were when what's his name, Swerve and Adam Page, when they were fighting like the goons, it looks so phony and just so bad. It was really a bad match. But Swerve and Adam Page, they won that match. And the other Continental Classic match, who was it? It was I'm trying to think of his name. Fletcher versus Mike Bailey. Let me tell you, this match right here ticked me off. This did not make any sense to me. Fletcher has that it factor. He is the next big star. If you're talking about making stars in AEW, you're looking at someone. You're looking at someone like Kyle Fletcher. You are looking at that guy. It doesn't make any sense that Speedball Mike Bailey beat him. And you know what? I think Mike Bailey. I actually like him. I don't think he's bad at all. But it's just kind of ridiculous. Fletcher, like the end of this match, Fletcher hit Speedball with a power bomb on the ring apron, and he hit him with something else, and then he hit his finisher. Speedball kicked out. That did not make any sense. And he rolled up. He did something to Fletcher. I can't even remember what he did because I was kind of ticked off. I don't know why, but that got me ticked off. And he rolled up Fletcher and he got the 1, 2, 3. It's like, what are we doing? And that's the whole thing about this tournament, that it doesn't make any sense because who are you getting over? AEW continues to lack star power. And when they do stuff like this that is just so ridiculous and stupid, it takes me out of it. It really does. It's whatever, but they're never going to make any stars, any new stars, if they continue doing these ridiculous things. And then also the match went on way too long. I think it went on, I don't know, was it 19 minutes? Because I think these matches are only 20 minutes, a 20-minute time limit, I believe. I'm not really sure, but I think so. But it was just ridiculous. Move after move doesn't mean anything. And I know people were saying it was a great match. If you were into that stuff, when someone is doing move after move and when they're not selling, there's no impact to these moves. To me, that's not a good match. That tells me that anyone can do that. Anyone can do a whole bunch of moves. But when you're selling, when you're making things mean something, when you're getting me as a fan, even though we know this is all scripted and all that, but you're making me believe, like, okay, hey, that move means something. Him doing a power bomb onto the ring apron and some kind of clothesline, there's no way the guy's going to get up right away from that. So they are definitely lacking that. To me, in that sense, it was not a good match. It was a horrible match because it was just ridiculous. And then also some other thing, I think did John Moxley wrestle? I can't remember. But anyway, the main event, Samoa Joe versus Eddie Kingston. This this ticked me off. I like Samoa Joe. I think he's one of the best. Eddie Kingston, this is one guy I just feel like he had a lot of potential a couple of years ago, and I still do like Eddie Kingston, but this was not it. So when Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe, when they had that promo last week or 2 weeks ago, yeah, I guess, yeah, well, yeah, no, it was last week on Dynamite to set up this match. And Eddie Kingston was saying, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I want the best Samoa Joe. And he was saying, win or lose, I'm going to go out there and fight. That's what Eddie Kingston was saying. So in this match, I thought that Eddie Kingston was really going to go at it. I thought that this was going to be a competitive match. These guys were going to go at it, and then Samoa Joe was going to choke him out. That's what I was thinking. No, Samoa Joe, from what I saw, because I did fast forward 2 minutes because I was just like, this is way too slow. And it's like, okay, I want these guys to sell, but and Eddie Kingston was selling the moves and all that, which I like, but I'm like, what is this? Samoa Joe was dominating the match. Eddie Kingston did a couple of things, and then Samoa Joe got Eddie Kingston in a choke, and that was the match. So I'm like, what happened? What happened? With the shows with AEW, there's not a good flow. It's 1 minute someone's doing some crazy stuff, doing all these crazy moves, and then the next minute, someone, maybe like a promo or whatever. The matches, there's not a good flow, and that's what's going on with AEW. And so far, Samoa Joe as champion, I really like Samoa Joe. I think he's one of the best, but it hasn't been good stuff. It hasn't been good stuff. So AEW, especially Tony Khan, because he's, the booker and, making putting everything together. He needs to get it together. And at this point, and for a long time, he needs help. It's clear as day that he needs help, because if he doesn't get help, and if he continues to control everything, the shows are not going to get better unless if he can get it together in some way, which I don't think, but something has to give, because this is not it. And then I'm looking at someone like Hobbs. That's someone who had so much potential and who has so much potential to be a star, but the bad booking is not helping. AEW, please get it together.